Alright guys, a buddy of mine brought me this gun. It is a Winchester 1400 automatic. It is unloaded. And the problem he had with it, he took it apart, and when he took it apart, the safety wouldn't stay in. So I figured I would show y'all. If you ever have a problem with that safety falling out, if you look on the back side of the gun, I don't know if you'll be able to see it up in here, but up behind, up in here, there's a little spring that's part of the trigger group that'll kick down. And if you don't have it just right where it locks into this little groove in here, your safety, when you go to push it, it'll just fall straight out. But when I was working on this gun for him, I was looking on YouTube, and I noticed there's not a video for a 1400, or at least not one I've seen. I've seen one on the 1200, and there's a little bit of difference. If you look on this model, you don't have the little, some of them actually have a down in here, like on more your Remington, Mossberg, they have like a little ring around here. You need a little special tool to turn it out to slide the forearm off and take your action bars out of your receiver. This one actually is pinned in, and when I get it apart, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I'm going to show y'all how to do this. It's not a hard gun to do, and we'll work around the camera to the best we can and show you. First thing you want to do is take your magazine cap off. It just screws off. Now there are a couple of washers under here that you don't want to lose. So you take your magazine cap off, and then you can just take your whole barrel off. Just slide it straight off the front. And when you take your, see, there's one of the washers. Get this little washer out of here. Alright. This little washer, you notice it's a little groove, sits up against the barrel. But anyways, sit them to the side. Then you can just slide your barrel out of your forearm. Pretty simple stuff. Now here's the problem where people have, on some of the other models like the 1200 and stuff, you actually have a ring that goes around here that your action bar, the whole thing comes off. But on this one you do not. And a lot of people have problems. They don't know how to take this off, but I'm going to show you how to take it off. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to take out the action part. So let me set the camera up. On most shotguns you have a takedown pin. Which is located here. You just want to drive that out. Just take your little punch and a hammer and just tap that out. Comes right out. Then on your trigger group, you're going to want to pull this up and back, and it comes right out. And you can set that aside because you don't need that. Alright, the next thing is just like a 1200. You've got this little bridge in here, that little screw. You want to take that screw out. Wouldn't you know? Hold on, let me get the right size screwdriver. These teardown videos are a little hard to do and show the real good detail around the camera. Alright, we'll get the right bit. And you just take the screw out. You take that bridge screw out. There's your little bridge screw. I don't know if you can see down in there, this little bridge. You'll be able to slide your bolt out of your action bars. You might have to pull up on them a little bit and you'll be able to slide your bolt out. But all that bridge does is hold your firing pin in. You see your firing pin? Show you all this. Pull it up where I can get the firing pin out. There's your firing pin and spring. I'll set it to the side. And now that we've got all that freed up, I'll show you how to take these action bars off. And it's not hard to do. It's probably going to be a handful around the camera, but we'll see what we can do. This spring, you want to stick a screwdriver in this spring and you want to pull the spring down till you can get to the top of it. You might want to go ahead and get you a, I like to use a aluminum cleaning rods. I don't ever use these to clean guns. I had a bunch of these just laying around. Sometimes I use them in a drill motor if I'm going to polish out a chamber area or something. But what you basically want to do is you want to take this screwdriver and you're going to bend this spring down to where you can see the top of it. And then once you get it bent down, you just slide this in here to hold it. And I'm going to probably have to take it off camera to show you how to do this because, like I said, it's kind of very hard to do with not being on camera. I usually like to sit it in my lap and just get your screwdriver and just pull it down to where you can get the top of it. And once you got the top of it pulled down, alright, we've got it now. So if you can see that, I've got the top of the spring pulled down and got this rod inserted where you can pull it, you know, away from it. And you just take your little screwdriver. This is just a pin. You just pry this little pin up. Now I do want to caution you, this spring is under some tension. You pull this little pin up and out. It just comes out and you can see how it's got the little groove in it. And then you can slide your little tool out. Your little end of your spring magazine. Now, what I like to do with it is, because this is under such pressure, is sit it down on something flat. Position the camera where you can see, and then just slide that rod out, and then you can just set your gun up off of there, and you can take that spring out like so. With that being loose, your action bars will come out. You'll have them out of your way. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. And in doing that, that gives you room to where you can pull up on this bridge. See how it rotates up? I don't know if you can see that. It just rotates up off of there. Then you can slide your bolt back. To where you can finagle it out of the groove. Like I said, it is a little difficult around the camera. You can take this out without taking the action bars out, but it's a major pain in the butt. There's your bridge. And then you can just slide your bolt right out the front. And you can tear this apart if you want to. You know, usually my advice would be, unless you got to change the extractor spring or something like that, I wouldn't even bother tearing this apart. But you can take this apart further if you want to, but just for general purposes, unless something breaks, you don't really need to take this apart. Also, if you look up in here, you have your shell ejector. I think that's what you call it. And it's got just a little pin. It just comes up off of that. And then you can slide it right out the front. And basically that gives you a bare receiver. Let's see if you can see that little pin in there. That's the little pin that goes on. And you know, naturally, if you're going to take the stock off, you can take these two screws off the butt pad, and you've got a long screw that goes all the way up through here, and you can take it off, but there's no need. But basically, that's how you take your bolt apart. And I wanted to show you, when you put this back together, after you compress your spring and everything, all this pin does is it just slides in. It's got another little hole in the back. It doesn't lock into place, it just sits there, and the spring tension holds it in place through your action bars. We'll cut the film and I'll show you how to put it back together.